Hello, you wonderful people. Today we're going to be talking about arc length, spelled like that. So you have arc length. Okay. Like many vocabulary phrases, if you read it backwards, a lot of times it makes more sense. So this is the length of something called an arc. Okay, so exactly what it is an arc length. If you have a circle, the length from any one point on the circle to any other point on the circle. So the distance going from here around the circle to here, that distance is an arc length. The symbol for that would be AB with a little curve over it. So that is the length from A to B. And that is called your arc length. AB. This should actually be two words, so arc length, AB. Also, this is also called an arc. So sometimes people don't write the length part. So this, and this all mean the same thing. All that means is the length going from A to B. Other sorts of vocabulary words. So, two vocabulary words I want to go over is the difference between what is a major arc and what is a minor arc. So on this picture right here, if we were going to go from A to B, we actually have two choices. We can go from A to B going this way, the short way, or you can go from A to B going here in the long way. So if you go the short way, that is called your minor arc. And we might put something like, if you were going to go from A to B going in the long direction, that right there is actually called your major arc. If you ever see the word arc or arc length without major or minor, they're always talking about the minor arc. If I wanted to write a symbol for my major arc, you actually need at least one more point. So you need another point somewhere in here. Let's say we'll call that E right there. And so the symbol for a major arc, you'd actually need three letters. You'd say you start at A, and we're going to go to B, but go through E. So this right here is the notation for the major arc that starts at A, goes through E, ends at B. Okay. Let's talk about proportionality inside of this circle. So right now we're going to talk about proportions on a circle. So proportions on a circle. Okay, let's draw our nice little circle again. Okay, before we talk about proportions on the circle, we need to know one more vocabulary word. If C here is the center, and we were to make two radiuses like that, and once again, we'll say this is going from A to B. Okay. This angle right here, that angle right there, that is your central angle. Let's put that here. So this inside angle that goes from your circle to the center of the circle to a different part on the circle, that right there is called your central angle. Okay, and if we're going to talk about proportions in a circle, let's remind ourselves what the word proportions is. Proportions is a ratio between two things. So whenever you hear the word proportions, sure. We're talking about something divided by something equals something else divided by something else. Or we're talking about the ratio of something to something. Being equal to the ratio of something else to something else. So the ratio of maybe D to E will equal ratio of F to G, or if you wanted to write it in this sort of notation with the double dots, D to E equals F to G. So this is what we mean by proportions. Something divided by something equals something divided by something, or you can have it in that notation. I'm going to write it personally in this notation over here. So when you have a circle, the ratio of this central angle to the arc length is equal to the ratio of any other central angle to any other arc length on this circle. Let's put that down here. Okay, let's give an example. So if I'm talking about the distance to go all the way around the whole circle, right? That would be the circumference. So if I started here at A and went all the way, the distance from A all the way back to A, that right there is your circumference. Okay? And the angle on the inside, starting at A and going all the way around back to A, that right there would be 360 degrees. So turns out that that proportion right there is equal to, remember circumference is talking about going around the outside of the circle, so that would match this part right here. So it turns out the length going from A to B, or the arc AB, or arc length AB, divided by this angle right here on the inside, divided by is equal to whatever the circumference is divided by 360. And that would work for any particular arc length on this whole, on this circle. So for example, if I decide to draw another little point over here, let's say I say that this over here is point X. And we'll call this, whatever. Call this D. So therefore, circumference divided by 360 is equal to arc length AB divided by that central angle. And also, that is also equal on this exact same thing to arc length XB, XA is what I meant to write, divided by this degree D right there. And this works on the same circle, these proportions.